Hey YouTube, I'm back. I'm going to do a deck profile today, little profile of the future, actually, of a deck that's going to be played. I'm going to play the sneak peek Generation Force in a couple of weeks, August 6th and 7th. I'm very excited about Generation Force. It's a really good set. I'm getting really excited about the Xyz monsters. You'll hear more about that on my Tuesday card of the week, when I review a card that I used a lot this past weekend at Agents, within Agents, in order to win a good $40 in store cred. So, what I'm going to profile today is a deck my friend Zermus 5555, he did a zombie plant deck. Now, I am a very big fan of the zombie plant deck. His deck's really good. You should check it out. There'll be a link in the description for it. Also, be sure to subscribe to this page. And this deck is going to be, however, more of a pure zombie deck, which is based a little bit more on exceeding and exceed summoning, with still the option, of course, to synchro at any given time. So, I'm going to get to the deck, and I'm going to name this deck Tour Guide Zombie Xyzinchro. Okay, so we're going to have a little goofy name for this deck. And I'm going to start off with the deck going with 3 Tour Guide from the Underworld. Check my deck, my card of the week number 1 for a Tour Guide from the Underworld about, check my box open and see how happy I was when I pulled my 3rd. To see what I think of this card and how good I think it is. And hear about Leviair, the Sea Dragon, who is a rank 3 Exceed, who you can detach a material to revive or remove from play, level 4 lower monster, which in zombies you can know how potent that actually can be. So Tour Guide is one of the main, I guess you can call it, engines of the deck. It's a free plus. It's just a very, very powerful and potent card. I'm testing, these are working well. I'm going with 3 Goblin Zombies. Right, I don't really mind opening up with more than one. Because you could always exceed. You know, this deck, you don't need a tuner in order to do something. As long as you set the Goblin Zombie, they attack it, you can search out the Zombie Master, and then you can get back Goblin Zombie, and you could immediately make a rank 4. This deck makes rank 4s and 3s extremely fast, and it can exceed very quickly, and of course can synchro very well. So the Goblin Zombie is never really turned out to be too dead of a card. It's one of my main Pyramid Turtle searches. Also, I like getting Goblin Zombie to the field. 3 Zombie Master. For a while, in the Zombie Plant deck, this card really just run at 1 because it doesn't do too much. In a pure zombie build, there's no reason not to run as many of these as you can. You can do ridiculous shenanigans with Zombie Master in this deck using a Blue Nosferatu, by using Zombie Master or another monster, getting another Zombie Master, getting out Blue Nosferatu, making a Roach, using Nosferatu's effect, detaching Zombie Master, bringing it back, pitch another, and you can do a lot of explosive plays without minusing due to Zombie Master's effect, being able to revive a zombie, from being able to summon a zombie from your hand, being able to use that. So Zombie Master 3, if you run into Defissures and Gravekeepers, you obviously start siding some of these out and get out of that plan. But in terms of the main deck of this deck, this is one of the more, this card is very, very potent. So 3 Zombie Master, okay? Now those are the 3 of us. Now the 2 of us are going to go with Blue Nosferatu. I mentioned what he does, I'll get into him more. He's a dark zombie, effect monster, 1000 attack, 17D. Obviously these are proxies, waiting for the cards to actually come out. When this card is normal summoned, it is immediately changed to defense mode, so 1700D comes into play. So that means Tengu can't punch over it alone without a Horn of the Phantom Beast, or without just having another monster. This card's effect is you can detach an XYZ material from an XYZ monster you control to special summon a zombie from the grave. Now, if you already have a zombie in the grave, you can use this effect to detach that material, like say a Zombie Master, and then special that Zombie Master back. Or you can use this effect to detach a Goblin Zombie, and then you contribute to the Goblin Zombie for Caius, or you can stack for Plaguespreader, and you can make a Bryonak, or you can do a lot of crazy things. So I really like 2 Blue Nosferatus. 3 was way too much. Nosferatu can turn a lot of his very small plays into huge plays, and you could really use the zombie and the zombie game mechanic, which is graveyard control, you could do it just as well as it used to be. Nosferatu adds a lot of potential and versatility in the deck. 2 Caius Shadow Monarch, just amazing card. After you use Tour Guide to get a Sangan, they attack the Tour Guide because you're not going to attack Tour Guide. You sack the Sangan for Caius, hit their field, search for Sangan, +1, even though after you've already +1'd off of Tour Guide. So it's continuous plussing to keep control of the duel. That Caius is one of the best cards ever. It goes in and out depending on the format, but right now I think Caius is an amazing card, and especially that he's dark and he's a tribute monster. It's easy to keep fodder on the field for him. So Caius, and he hits back rows, which this deck could have issues with. So 2 Caius, 2 Pain Painter. This card's name is treated as Plaguespreader Zombie. What you can do is you can target up to 2 of your zombies you control and make them level 2. Now, with Pain Painter, you're allowed to have more options. Before this, Plaguespreader Zombie was the only zombie tuner, period. They didn't even have a vanilla tuner, it was just Plague. This gives the deck another tuner. So now you're allowed to do a lot more explosive plays, which lets you use Zombie Master better. Zombie Master was really good when Plague was at 3. When Plague was at 3, Master was always a free level 6 synchro monster. But Pain Painter, right, is another option, and this is the first way you can make Archfiend Zombie Skull, who is actually a really good card. He just had a really bad condition to bring him out. So 2 Pain Painter. 3 was ridiculous because he doesn't have Plagues or self-reviving effect, so you don't want to draw too many of these, but just having another tuner, just the option to be there now, makes the deck that much better. Okay, now 2 Pyramid Turtle. Some people are fans, some people are not. You're talking to you, Zeromus, right? But I think Pyramid Turtle is one of the best recruiters ever. When his card is destroyed by battle, special zombie with 2,000 or less defense. That is any zombie in the game. You could get out some huge hammers if you felt like playing a beatdown version. He will let you fetch Goblin Zombie. He'll let you fetch Zombie Master and have a monster in the grave to target, so you can use Zombie Master's effect right away without using up your normal summon. So you could summon Pyramid Turtle, right? And then have it get the set Pyramid Turtle, have it get destroyed, get Zombie Master. Zombie Master, you pitch a Blue Nosferatu, you special that, you normal a Goblin Zombie, you make it an Exceed, you make a Roach, you pitch Goblin Zombie, use Nosferatu's effect to get Goblin Zombie back. So, you could do, and then you can make another rank 4, or you could just sit with the Goblin Zombie and the Roach, or a Utopian, because that's just a really strong field setup. Plus a couple of back rows is really good. I like the fact that you could get things to the field without using up your normal summon, because your normal summon is very important in today's game. So 2 Pyramid Turtle, it's just that card that speeds the deck up a lot. And when you're not playing with the plant engine, you have a little bit more room to try stuff like Pyramid Turtle. Double Spirit Reaper, so happy when this came in Gold Series. This has got to be one of the best cards of all time. I think Konami made a huge mistake by putting this card up to 2. Spirit Reaper, it can sit as a defensive wall. You open up their field and you attack. I have never seen more Deep Prisons. People go, ugh, when they have to drop Deep Prison than when they do it on Spirit Reaper. Now, he used to have a very big drawback, and he still does, which is when he's targeted by a card effect, he's destroyed. Now, most card effects today are stuff like Bryanak, are stuff like Compulsory Evacuation Device, and are stuff like Book of Moon, right? So this card isn't destroyed by any of those, because when he ends up into those positions, either back in your hand or face down, he's no longer on the field to be destroyed. So Spirit Reaper gets around. Spirit Reaper's destruction effect really used to only matter when people would play stuff like Enemy Controller, Brain Control. It's still Mind Control, but a lot of the times if they're going to waste their Mind Control on your Reaper, that's a 1-for-1 instead of the +1 that Mind Control usually is. So the Spirit Reaper can get around a lot of effects. Getting at your hand is always big. I'm a huge fan of playing hand control games. Do not let your opponent have a lot of cards in your hand. That's one of the biggest ways to win. 1 Dark Arm Dragon. This deck gets him out ridiculously consistently, because any deck running this can get Dark Arm Dragon out really easily. Okay, so Dad is just there. He's a big boss monster, main deck that the deck needs, and works very, 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 very powerfully in this deck because of graveyard manipulation. Plus, he's able to set up your remove from play pile in order to use Levier the Sea Dragon for later on, formerly known as Empty Space Sea Serpent Leviel. One, Mezuki. He is broke beyond all belief. Back when Mezuki was at 2 and 3, it was known as zombie format because Mezuki is just a 3+ for any zombie. He revives any monster in the attribute type, and he's just way too good. If you can get Bryanak on the field and you have him in your hand, you've probably won the duel. Just saying, because you're gonna be plussing to no end. Okay, Plague. Plague is still one of the best cards, tuners to ever come out. Traditional decks still play him, plants still play him, you know, some plant decks still play him, the Tengu decks still play it. Just, I don't like him in other decks because he is technically a -1. You know, he replaces itself, but then you synchro with him, so he makes the -1 mechanic of synchroing like how it was supposed to be, an actual -1 to get a synchro out. But Plaguespreader Zombie is one of the better zombie cards ever, and he now has a new friend in Pain Painter. One Sangan, obvious reasons why. Also, he's still Sangan, you know, so Sangan is just speeds up the deck, the consistency, which is what every deck needs these days. Double Mystical Space Typhoon, no explanation needed. One Allure of Darkness. Now, usually I won't explain about Allure of Darkness, but there was a time when there was a card in this game that was banned for a very good reason because of its ability to set up your graveyard. And the card I'm talking about, as I stall to get it out of my book, is one Graceful Charity, right? Now, the reason why Graceful Charity, besides the fact that you draw 3 cards out of it, was originally banned, was because when you drew 3, you'd pitch 2 and now your graveyard's set up. That's bad. There's no drawbacks to the card. These 3 drawbacks, you have to discard stuff you might want, right? But Grace was amazing for that. Now, Allure Darkness in this deck, because you're playing the tour guides and using the Levier the Sea Dragon, you have the ability to remove from play, say, a Blue Nosferatu, right? And then you summon Tour Guide from the Underworld, and you fetch out, either say, another Tour Guide, and you make Levier the Sea Dragon, right? You remove Tour Guide, you pitch Tour Guide to revive the Blue Nosferatu that you remove from Allure of Darkness. Then you pitch the other Tour Guide that's on your on your Levier the Sea Dragon, and you revive a Plaguespreader or a Pain Painter, and then you make a Synchro, and then you just, you know, and you keep going, and it speeds everything up, turning the remove from play pile into Graveyard 2.0. In this deck, in this build, because of Nosferatu, Allure of Darkness plays the same role that Graceful Charity used to play, which I like a lot. I like it a lot in this deck. Allure of Darkness, if Allure of Darkness ever goes up to more than 1, you can see this deck would have a ton of more consistency just because of the ability to set up its remove from play pile. And of course the 2 draws. 1 book, no explanation needed. Still a little bit amazing at 1. When it was at 3, it was broke. You know, it was stupid at 3, you know. I never really talked too much about book. But at 1, it's still just a really good, I guess you can even call it tech at 1. Dark Hole. Foolish Burial, it's zombies. If you don't know why you're playing Foolish and zombies, you're not paying attention. 1 Gigantic Trunade, gotta get rid of those back rows. Also bounce your limit and call. 1 Pot of Avarice. You know, I get sick of seeing this card in my opening hand, even in decks that mill, right? And I'm kind of preparing for what I think might happen later on. I think Pot of Avarice might be going down on the ban list. And Pot, like, yes, it gets stuff back, but it's such a double-sided card. For the plus, you have to pay for getting this stuff out of your grave that you might want being in there. You know, early game, it's so bad unless you know you're playing a deck that fills it ridiculously quick. And the only way I'm really doing that in this version is either Tour Guide or with Pyramid Turtle. So I'd rather just have 1 to have it for late game. I understand how good it is, but I've also had too many times where the cards came back to bite me. You know what I mean? Seeing 2 of them in my opening hand, and now I have to play with a 3-card opening hand. I don't like that. I would prefer to just run another trap or something. I recently cut this for the 3rd Goblin Zombie, and I might even cut that 3rd one for a D Prison. I'm not sure yet. Monster Reborn, obvious card is obvious. Double Solemn Warning, Solemn Judgment, Moses and Jesus, you know, just too good. Too good. Way too good. Probably next format, I think this is what it's going to look like, and this is going to be in some other deck, because I don't think they're going to leave this at 2. Okay. Call of the Haunted. Just Call of the Haunted, it's zombies. Limited reverse, gets back Sangan, gets back Blue Nosferatu, gets back Plague, gets back Pain Painter, gets back a lot of stuff that I want for plays. Worst case scenario, gets me back Tour Guide if that's the only thing that's in my graveyard at the moment to make a Levier the Sea Dragon with Spirit Reaper. Mirror, Tools, Torrential. Okay, so that is the deck profile. This is what I'm going to be playing at the sneak peek. I will get back to you on how I do then. Of course, that's August 6th and 7th, so expect the video on August 8th. Right, so this is the deck that I will be using a little bit next format. Tour Guide, Zombie Xyzinchro, and it's consistent. It's worked well in testing. It's done well against Tengu. It's done well against, even done well against Drunk Doppel, even though that deck, you know, when it goes off, it just explodes. Obviously, Gravekeepers are a rough matchup, but I'm able to use the remove from play pile enough that I can get around their graveyard stopping. So, with that, I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and hope you all have a very good rest of your weekend. And I'll be getting back this coming week with my card of the week number 2. This Tuesday, the Tuesday night card of the week. I will pull it out of my deck box eventually with a review of Gachi Gentetsu and how this card took me to the top 2 in last week's 26-man local. So, with that, thank you for watching, and please subscribe.